This video is intended for educational purposes. I am not a financial advisor. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor for your personal financial decisions. Hello everyone. I am Mo Germain and I am coming to you from Manitoba, Canada. And on today's episode of Crypto with Mo, I want to talk to you about centralized finance versus decentralized finance. We're going to talk about some of the major differences, some of the advantages and disadvantages. So let's get rolling. So what are some examples of centralized finance? Centralized finance would be your bank, PayPal, investment firms, or crypto exchanges like Coinbase or Binance. And their purpose is to manage crypto activities and transactions of their users and clients, people like you and me. So there are advantages and disadvantages to using centralized finance. So some of the advantages are that it can be used for trading services, lending, borrowing, or margin trading. It can support cross-chain exchanges, which can be necessary at times. It can support conversion of fiat currency into crypto or vice versa. So what are the disadvantages when it comes to centralized finance? So you're susceptible to cyber attacks plus data leaks. There can also be a potential for your funds that can be stolen or held ransom for a crypto fee. Examples of that can be crypto investment platforms. Not every crypto investment platform is legitimate or real. There's a lot of scams out there, and oftentimes investment platforms, anything that you have to send your crypto over to be held by someone else, that is a centralized platform. You need permission to use centralized finance. There's a KYC, which is Know Your Customer, where you have to fill in all this information of your personal information. They can be impacted by many issues like fraud, forgery, questionable lending processes. Many countries, in fact, struggle to provide reliable banking accessibility, financial stability, or accountability. So it's a real problem globally. So now I want to go over just a little bit of the surface of what decentralized finance can mean. So there are many layers to decentralized finance. I'm not going to go into all of them. My focus is mostly going to be on centralized exchanges, and some examples of those can be Shapeshift or Uniswap or PancakeSwap, or there's actually quite a few. But I want to focus on what are the advantages of decentralized finance. So, and decentralized exchanges or decentralized investment. So basically, if you have the internet or a smartphone, that's all you need. That's all you need to access it. It's revolutionary. It's new tech. It's brand new tech. It gives you full control. It protects your personal data because there's no Know Your Customer. Users are sole owners of their data. It's not vulnerable to thefts of your funds unless you give away your private keys, which never, ever do that. Ever. Users are responsible for managing their funds and activities. You are your bank. This is why you do not give away your private keys. Because if you do that, you're essentially handing over your money, your crypto. You are basically giving someone access to your bank account. And it's built on blockchain technology, which is a new technology, and it allows use of smart contracts, which are designed to automatically execute transactions when a certain condition is fulfilled. So it's automatic, it's automated. There's no need for trust. There's no need for it's completely transparent because it's all written in the code, and it's open source. So, and it's heavily encrypted, so it's also protected and safe. So now I want to talk about what my top 3 favorite things are about decentralized finance. The top 3 advantages. So for me, I really love that there's no permission needed to join decentralized finance. It doesn't care what gender you are, it doesn't care what your sexual orientation is, it doesn't care what religion you follow. None of that matters. If you are breathing and human, obviously, yes, you have to follow the laws of your country regarding crypto. I'm not suggesting you not do that, but you don't need a KYC, a know your customer, and that is part of the beauty of decentralized finance. Is you get to decide what happens with your money, with your crypto, with your finances. It also, and I'm passionate about this, it allows people who are at a lower income that aren't millionaires and billionaires to be able to enter the finance industry, or it provides something to those who are underbanked, who do not have great financial systems. And probably the number one best thing about decentralized finance is that it's reliable, transparent, and it is unlikely to be affected by manipulation, fraud, or other issues, because it's so heavily encrypted, and it is like every transaction is recorded, so there is really very little way to create fraud. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm saying that it's pretty hard to do. What are some of the disadvantages when it comes to decentralized finance? Well, there are a few. One of the big ones right now is there's a lack in cross-chain exchanges. So alternatives are being developed, however, because again, blockchain technology is fairly new. It's only 10 years old. So it's still evolving and growing and developing, and we are very early to this crypto game. And the tech is moving at such a rapid pace. It's really fascinating and fun to watch, and a little bit difficult to keep up with everything all the time. And here's one of the other kind of disadvantages, or things that can intimidate someone who is new to crypto. You are responsible for your funds. This includes your passwords, your seed phrases, your usernames, your wallets, your digital wallets. Just like you are responsible for the wallet that goes in your pocket or your purse, you are responsible for your digital wallet as well. So you wouldn't just hand that out to anyone. So or your banking information for that matter. Like you do, that's just not information you give out to just anyone ever. So as you wouldn't give out your banking information, you also should not give out your passwords, your seed phrases, your usernames, or your wallet. These are all things you keep protected, just as you would a physical wallet or your purse or your bank account information. So now that I've introduced you and spoken to you a little bit about centralized versus decentralized finance and some of the advantages and disadvantages of that, I would like to just share a little bit of personal experience. So I started my journey into crypto in October of 2020. I was first introduced to it through Forsage, which is a decentralized smart contract platform. And I loved it, and I still love it, and I still am fully endorsing it, promoting it, because it's a way to earn cryptocurrency that I love, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. So I'll stop gushing about it. As I was following leadership at that time that was showing me the ropes of crypto, and they were all still very new as well, we were guided into an opportunity that looked really great on paper. It had it ticked all the check boxes, basically. It looked truly legit, and then it wasn't. It was a scam. And that, I mean, I didn't lose a whole ton because I didn't put in a whole ton, but it still sucked and it still hurt, and it was still money that I did not want to lose. Again, just as a word of advice, don't invest anything more than you're willing to lose. And that goes for any investing, not just crypto. It goes for stocks, whatever. Don't invest more than you're willing to lose. I mean, make sure you're taken care of, and then if there's extra, you use that. So, and that really put a real damper on my crypto experience, right? Because here it looked really, really solid, and it wasn't. It was just a really, really well constructed scam, which is really unfortunate. So as I've mentioned, there are, in any space, whether it's crypto or fiat currency, there are scams out there, and you have to pay really close attention to what you're investing in. Also, another experience I had with centralized investment platforms was opportunities that genuinely seemed legit, again, and you put in a certain amount based on their plans, and based on the plan you choose and the amount of money you put in, you get a certain percentage return, which I used a few and they worked out great, and I was able to withdraw some funds. But then all of a sudden, when I chose to put in a higher amount, all of a sudden I won a bonus, and then, but in order to claim the bonus, I had to put in more funds, and much higher amounts that I didn't have or don't have access to. And so it really took me by surprise that in order to claim it, I had to send more, and it just sounded so fishy that I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna do that. And then I encountered another platform, because there are multiple of investment platforms out there for Bitcoin. There's multiple, and you have to be very, very cautious about them, because anything that promises you these high returns doesn't necessarily always deliver. So I ended up doing another investment platform, and again the same thing happened, where it was, I was able to put in and take out, and then as I put in a higher amount, again it was, you want a bonus, and in order to unlock all your funds, you have to put in so much money, and then we'll release it all back to you, which is asking the customer to put in way too much trust and faith in your company to send that back. Like, the average person like me, or anybody really, is gonna hear that and go, that's not right. And even when I joined up with a leadership that was much more knowledgeable than I, as soon as they spotted that a new investment platform was trying to pull the same thing, they called everyone and said, stop, don't put any money into this, because that's not right. They should not be asking for you to send in this much so that you can take out. One of them was the My Group that I've posted about before, and they were requesting of me to send $500 worth of Bitcoin in order to withdraw $90 worth of Bitcoin, which I'm like, you can keep that $90 worth of Bitcoin then, because I'm not sending that. I'm not going to send that without any actual guarantee that I'm getting it back, because the average person is not going to do that. That just makes no logical sense. So if that's how actual investment platforms work, and maybe they do, maybe they don't, that doesn't sound right to me. I don't think it sounds right to any of you, but I wanted to share that there are these platforms out there that will look really, really amazing on paper. They will have all the paperwork. They will tick every box that you would expect to be there. But then they pull these tricks where after they have your funds, they say, you got to jump through this hoop, this hoop, this hoop, this hoop to get your funds back, which is not what anyone wants. I want to have control over my money. I do not want anyone else to have control over my money, which is why I love decentralized finance, where you can earn cryptocurrency through smart contracts, or you can participate in excuse me, in DAOs or NFTs, or like there's so many different ways you can participate in crypto, and it's decentralized where you're in control of everything. And that is why I prefer decentralized finance over centralized finance. So now that I've shared all my thoughts with you and past mistakes and learning curves, there's learning curves in everything. I'm not ashamed of the mistakes I've made. So that's it for this episode of Crypto with Bo. I hope that you were able to gain a little bit of clarity about the difference between centralized and decentralized finance and the advantages and disadvantages of both. Because the decentralization is going to truly change and revolutionize the world that we live in. It's time to learn all about it. It is time to grow and develop our skills. And I'll see you next time on Crypto with Bo.